So this is the August 4th, 2021 Prince William County LHRC meeting. This meeting will be conducted as a subcommittee, not a meeting, and we will make adjustments to the agenda when we get there. And I will let the chair call the meeting to order.
Okay, I'm calling the meeting to order at 4:39 p.m.
Very good. And if you can just say your name as being present, and so that we can have that record for attendance.
Susan Evers, present.
James Pritchard, present.
Very good. Thank you both for being here and being on the subcommittee today. So in terms of the agenda, because it is a subcommittee, some things will remain, but the approval of the minutes, so the approval of the subcommittee minutes from 6/2 and the approval of the minutes from the 4/7, those will all go to the next meeting. As I may have indicated previously, we'll try to do a September meeting, just a quick September meeting, so that we can approve all of the minutes and just get that business out of the way. The recommendations will still stand from the subcommittees.
Right.
Pardon me?
Yeah, we wouldn't have people attending those meetings. It's just the committee coming to do the approvals. Okay.
Yeah, it would still be a public meeting. We still would have a public comment, but it really would just be getting together to approve 3 sets of minutes. Exactly. So I will say, so in terms of changes to the agenda, we're going to remove those minute approvals. There won't be any chair announcements. I will still do an advocate report and training, and we will still do new provider, new business, and we'll still do recommendations. But beyond that, that's the changes to the agenda. So it's a small crew. So one person makes a motion, the second person seconds the motion, and then I just call on you both to roll call verify your agreement with that motion. So if one of you can make a motion to approve the agenda with the changes I've just discussed.
I make a motion to approve the
agenda.
So I'll take James, and then Susan, you second?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so now I have to roll call the approval. So James, do you agree with that?
I agree.
Susan, do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. So I forgive the redundancy. So even though we are a subcommittee, public comments are still available. We did have some people in the waiting room, and it's always curious who's in the waiting room and who's not. So I'm going to open this person up to come into the meeting, and depending on what their business is, I may put them off till the closed session. So let us admit this person. So welcome to the Prince William County LHRC. So person on the phone with their number ending in 277, if you can unmute and announce yourself. In order to unmute from your phone, I believe you have to hit *6 to unmute. So if you can *6 to unmute and identify yourself, that would be helpful. There you go. I think you're unmuted. Can you speak? Well, it did seem to work to unmute you, but we cannot hear you. So you're not going to be able to participate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick you off.
This is one. This is one. I'm sorry. This is one.
Hi, very good.
I couldn't get it.
All right. Who is this?
This is Juan.
And who are you?
Oh, Juan Gonzalez.
Oh, Juan. Hi, Juan. Okay, sorry.
Hey,
I need more than a first name, Juan.
sorry.
All right. Well, you're early, so because you are not until
6:30, right?
Yeah, 6:30. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're welcome to leave and call back in at 6:30.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Juan.
No problem.
All right. Bye. So there's another person, and I know it. I'm going to let this person in, and I'll explain in a second. Mr. Powell, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, I'm here.
So did you turn in any of the information to have the individual reviewed by the agenda deadline?
I may have missed the deadline by a day or two.
Do you remember when you sent an email? Because I don't have an email from you with the information for that person to be reviewed.
Yes, I believe it was the 26th.
Okay. Of July?
Yes,
Okay. And did the email come from you?
yes.
Oh, I can't minimize. Oh, holy cats. All right, sorry, 1 second. All right. And for whatever reason, that didn't get that. I'm searching now and I see it that it did go into my junk folder. I don't know why it does that. And so let me look. But what you submitted is just the restrictions form. Is that correct?
Yes,
And I think we've reviewed previously that you have to submit all the materials. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Okay. So, because in order to be able to do a thorough review, right, we want everything there to be reviewed. Is that all that you submitted, is just that review form?
It was.
Okay, so we're gonna push this off this agenda and we're gonna push it to the next agenda, but you need to submit everything. So I'll remind you of a few things. You need to have the review, let's see, he only has restrictions, right? So you need to have
Yes.
restrictions form. You need to have however and wherever that is detailed. So is his detailed in his ISP Part 5 or is it detailed in a behavior plan?
In a behavior plan.
Right, so the behavior plan is what also needs to be submitted. Does the IRC look at the behavior plan?
I believe they do. I also send any collected data to the behavior specialist so that they can prepare the plan.
Okay, so I don't have any IRC verification that they've looked at it. Let's see, remove but track data. So timeout is one of the data points that you're looking at, right? Okay, so I'm gonna have you resubmit that restrictions form, submit the full behavior plan, see if the IRC looked at it. And then when we're gonna try to do a quick meeting in September, and I can put this person on the September, but again, a reminder that everything has to be submitted by the deadline. It's not a matter of a day, it's a matter of turning in everything. So since I don't have everything for us to look at today, we'll put that off to the next meeting. If I have a September meeting, I'll let you know that. Otherwise, we'll push it off to October, but I'll keep you informed of that.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions on that?
No.
Any
Thank
questions from the LHRC on that? So again, that was someone that was recommended to come back and we didn't have all the materials to review. Okay, perfect. All right, thank you, Carl. Submit those directly to me as soon as you can, so we make sure that we can put that either for September or October.
Will do. Thank you all. Have a
All
great
right.
evening.
Very good. Thanks, Carl.
Okay. Bye.
All right, very good. I mean, that happens. Stuff goes to junk. So let me pull up the agenda. Oh my goodness, too many windows. Show all my windows. Why? Okay. TV timeout. 1 second. I'm not able to share. I really do have too many windows open. Oh, because I closed it. That's funny. No wonder I can't find it. Let me open up the agenda and then I can post that. I need background music. Jeopardy background music.
Oh, I'm at this. We're going to 7:30 tonight.
Yeah,
Okay, I just didn't realize that. Not a problem.
yeah. I was trying to Maybe it'll go quicker. Most things are pretty well looked over, so there's just a few, most of the sheets, and I'll talk about them. The sheets have the information that has any follow-up questions that exist. Let's see. All right, now let's put the agenda. There's no one in the waiting room, so we've made the adjustments to the agenda. There's no one in the waiting room that is stating that they wish to make a public comment. I received nothing in email for public comment. Is there any public comment that either of you would like to make?
No, I'm good.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. So the chair, you don't have any announcements?
I have no announcements, no, other than I just saw again on the back here that we may be going in person, which is exciting.
So that's what I'm going to talk about for a second. So remember that the governor's order, the emergency order that took place when the pandemic first started, it did a couple of things, and three things that really impacted our operations. There were two regulations, human rights regulations, that were waived as if they never existed. One was the right to have and refuse visitors, and the other one was to do seclusion and residential programs. So by the definition of quarantine and isolation, seclusion met that definition. And so it allowed providers, by removing that, it allowed providers to seclude and quarantine individuals that they suspect of having COVID. What also happened with that emergency order is that normal Freedom of Information Act rules and regulations with regard to public meetings were, I don't know if waived is the right word, but were flexed and changed to permit remote meetings. There's all these rules, and we had a FOIA training a while ago, which we can do it again when we're all together again. But the FOIA training, it talks about that there's all these rules and regulations with regard to access to public meetings and public bodies, and that so there's FOIA requirements for that. And so that requires the meeting to be in a physical location that other people can be made aware of and attend, that there has to be a physical quorum present of members, all those things that existed before the pandemic. Those rules were adjusted for the pandemic so that we could hold public meetings in remote fashion. Lots of things were held remotely. Public meetings were held remote because of that. With the removal of that emergency order by the governor, all the regular FOIA rules apply. So all the rules requiring that people be physically present, that there be a quorum physically present, all of those things come back into play. Now, there is discussion that we can still do some level of remote meeting, or at least some level of hybrid meeting, meaning that the LHRC has to be physically present, a quorum has to be physically present, and providers and BCBAs can attend remotely. And how a member can attend remotely is as long as there's a physical quorum present. So, for instance, one of our other members was going to have difficulty getting childcare in order to physically in-person participate. However, if there is a quorum present at the physical location, then members can participate remotely. But then that puts the burden of always needing to be physically present on the other members and being able to agree with that. So that's going to be some managing to make that happen, but we're interested in that. You guys all have a valuable voice, and we want to maintain and do the best that we can. I do know that there is discussion in legislature about changing some of the FOIA requirements, because certainly if the last year has taught us anything, is that we can be successful at having remote meetings, right? So the ability to have public meetings, as long as we allow access, whether through letting people into the Zoom room, it's public links, we publish the links, we publish the minutes, we do the video, all the things that we're doing, as long as those things continue, if they change the legislation, we may be able to continue to do that moving forward. So in person, yes. I don't have a location as of yet because Prince William County changed some of their requirements for their meeting location. And that's why this meeting was not in person, because it was way too soon to try to secure that, because they weren't necessarily allowing us to have that space back. Because again, it needs to be a space that's physically large enough to accommodate us and allow for some level of distancing. It needs to have capabilities for remote participation so that not necessarily Wi-Fi, but some way to share a screen so that we can share information with those physically present in the room and those who are participating remotely. So lots of nitty-gritty logistics to still work out that we're looking at. So I don't have an answer other than to say the next meeting is going to, as soon as I secure a space, is going to need to be in person. And of course, I would plan on the October meeting. If I'm able to secure something for September, and I'm going to say towards the later part of September or mid-September, then I'll let you know that, and hopefully I can give you enough advance notice that you guys can participate in person. Questions on that? So it's in flux like everything else for the last year and a half. It's in flux and always evolving. So we always appreciate your patience on that. So that will be changing, but yes, the next meeting is anticipated to be in person once I figure out exactly where and how that's going to happen. And in potential likelihood as well, this ad hoc September meeting, just so we can get caught up on. So maybe there will be one person present, Susan, as you discovered. So maybe there'll be one person present, but just also to resolve our open-ended minutes and get those approved.
Okay, just a quick question, my ignorance, and we're talking about having to have a quorum. Is there a certain number of committee members that you have to have? And I guess my question is, like, let's say if you're required to have 5, but if we actually have 10, then that would help us when people aren't, able to come, correct?
Yes and no, because the
Okay.
quorum is based on the number that you have. So the higher your number of members, the higher your quorum number also has to be. So if you have 10 members, then you have 6 members who have to be physically present in the quorum. We have 4 members, that means 3 of you have to be physically present to be a quorum.
Right.
We don't have 3, so that's why we're a subcommittee,
Mhm.
because of the other 2 members not being available. So we certainly 4 is not a good number. That's not where we want to be. We did have the potential to have an application meet with us tonight. That didn't pan out because I really wasn't sure what we were going to end up doing with this meeting. So I will reach out to that person again, and I will put an email blast out to all the providers, reminding them that we're always looking for members to, we did that a couple of years ago and we had some success. So certainly you guys, of individuals, families, individuals who may be interested in joining. I'm constantly recruiting. My friends are tired of me asking. So if you guys have anyone interested, let me know. I can send you the recruitment materials, and you can, you have a place that you can post it. Feel free to do that. But we're always open to ways that we can do recruitment. And I know it's hard in this time, even as we're coming out of COVID and we run the risk of other things moving forward. I think that's, given the status and the ever-changing landscape of this virus and how it impacts our environment, I think that there is a push. I'm hoping that there's a push that some of those FOIA requirements are changed more permanently because of what the future looks like. Delta variants, now there's another South American variant. It's an ever evolving situation, and we need to be able to conduct business in the most appropriate manner. So again, recruit. So that's another change to the agenda. My apologies. We do not have the individual that we would interview. And if I can arrange for something, I'll find out, if any one of the 4 of you can do just a separate phone call with them. Maybe that's something I can set up separately aside from a meeting. Again, maybe we can do that September meeting. We'll look at that, and so that we can get this application put through. So very good. Any questions on any of that? Again, it's ever evolving. I'll try to keep you informed as best as I can. And for right now, it's in person is what our next step is going to be. And I'm hoping that there'll be some changes to that down the road. I'm hoping. It's my fondest desire.
What's this member reapplication?
So I can't, I did ask you all if unofficially through email, there, a couple of you are up for reapplication.
Okay.
And I don't have my list in front of me.
I don't think I am, yeah.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure that there were no concerns about anybody who is currently a member putting their application back through for the SHRC to approve. I received from everybody that there were no concerns, and so I'm going to move forward that the LHRC supports these reapplications. And I believe I sent that, I think everyone responded to that, so there were no concerns that were reported back to me, so we'll move forward with that. Thank you for mentioning that. All right, very good. So it is right on the dot 5 o'clock. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop sharing, but I'm going to share the going into closed session, and I'm going to have Susan, you read it, and then James, you second, and then you'll certify. And as soon as you're done reading it and that process take place, then I will pause recording and let the members into the room for the first set of individuals.
Okay.
Are you able
You
to see
ready?
that? Thanks.
Yeah. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Whereas the Prince William County Local Human Rights Committee desires to discuss in closed session client-related matters, and whereas pursuant to VA Code 2.1-344A, paragraph 15, for the protection of the privacy of individuals and their records in personal matters not related to public business, such discussions may occur in closed sessions. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Prince William County Local Human Rights Committee does hereby authorize discussions of the aforestated matters in closed session.
I
Second.
second.
Very good. Thank you. Sue, are you in agree? Susan, you in agreement with
Yes,
that?
we're
Very good.
all in agreement. Yes.
James, you're in agreement?
I am in agreement.
Very good. Thank you. I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to pause the recording. Susan, do you want to, oops, let me scroll down. Want to read that?
Yeah. Whereas the Prince William County Local Human Rights Committee has this day adjourned into closed session in accordance with a formal vote of the committee and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas the Freedom of Information Act requires certification that such closed session was conducted in conformity with the law, now therefore be it resolved that the Prince William County Local Human Rights Committee does hereby certify that to the best of their knowledge, only matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements and only such matters for the protection of the privacy of the individuals and their records and personal matters not related to public business were heard, discussed, or considered.
James, you second?
Second.
Very good. And then Susan, if you can say so certify.
So I so certify.
And James?
I vote yes.
So certify.
So certified.
Thank you. Very good. All right, I'm going to review the individuals that we went over today and indicate the dates that the recommendations and any of the recommendations made by the LHRC. Individual number 1, return date of 10/6. Individual number 2, return date of 10/6. Individual number 3, return date of 10/6. Individual number 4, return date of 10/6. Individual number 5, return date of December 1st. Individual number 6, return date of 10/6. Individual number 7, return date of 12/1. Individual number 8, return date of 12/1. Individual number 9, return date of 12/1. Individual number 10, return date of 12/1. Individual number 11, return date of 10/6. Individual number 12, return date of 10/6. And individual 13, return date of 2/2/2022. So if there are any changes or amendments to those recommendations that you all have made? If not, then can I have a motion, a second, and then again, I'll roll call to verify of those recommendations.
I recommend we accept those recommendations.
Perfect. Susan, do you second? Very good. Susan, are you in agreement with those recommendations?
Yes, I am in agreement. Yes.
Thank you. James, are you in agreement?
I am in agreement.
Very good. Thank you all. That was all the business that we conducted in closed session. Let me stop sharing this and let me find the agenda to make sure that we have covered all items on our agenda. If I can find it. Oh my goodness, okay.
Yep, the only thing we have left is adjournment.
Yep.
On the
So-
agenda.
I will reach out to you all with regard to trying to schedule a September meeting so that we can approve all of the minutes. It appears that there are 2 individuals that we were not able to get to tonight that had submitted some level of paperwork. I'll try to put those on that meeting, so it will be a very quick meeting.
Okay.
So I'll send out some feelers for potential dates. I'm going to assume that this evening hour works best for you guys.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you as far as time goes. Are you looking at the same time frame on
I
going
would
back
if
in person? Sure.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I was just clarifying.
Good with me.
I would, absolutely. So I'll look to 4:30. I'll look at a Wednesday that does seem to work, but I'll pick a couple of days in early September so that
Sure.
we can, get that all taken care of. Otherwise, all business having been conducted by the subcommittee, I just need the chair to call the meeting closed. And again, I'll send you information on that October 6th meeting where it will occur in person because again, I don't know what that's going to be.
Sure.
But otherwise, I just need you to call it adjourned.
Okay. As chairperson, I call this meeting adjourned at Anne's incredible time of 7:29. Look at you.
Woohoo, look at that. I'm never that good.
Yes, you are. You're always that good.
Thank you.